Be me, Valentina, 47 years old. Spent my entire adult life fighting the patriarchy. Raised my daughter Autumn to be a strong, independent woman. Never married her father. Refused to take his name or give it to her. Taught her from day one that marriage is a trap designed to subjugate women. Always told her that financial independence is the only path to true freedom. Pushed her to excel in everything. Debate team, student government, advanced placement classes. Made sure she understood that homemakers are just glorified servants. Constantly reminded her how women before us sacrificed everything so she could have choices. Autumn just graduated summa cum laude from university with a degree in economics. Has 3 job offers from major consulting firms. I'm so proud. This is everything I worked for. She's going to shatter glass ceilings just like I always planned. Finally, a daughter who will carry on the fight for women's liberation. Invite her over for dinner to celebrate her success. Can't wait to hear which offer she's accepting. She walks in looking nervous. Immediately sets off my maternal radar. Something's wrong. She's fidgeting with her hands. Mom, I need to tell you something important. Heart starts racing. Please don't tell me she's pregnant. I'm not taking any of those job offers. Confusion. What do you mean? Did you get a better opportunity? Are you going to graduate school? She takes a deep breath. I'm getting married to Jack in 3 months, and I want to be a stay-at-home wife. The world literally stops spinning. Did she just say what I think she said? This has to be a joke. My brilliant, accomplished daughter wants to throw her life away. Autumn, that's not funny. Tell me you're joking. She looks me dead in the eye. I'm completely serious, Mum. I love Jack, and I want to dedicate my life to supporting him and building a family together. I feel like I've been punched in the stomach. Everything I've worked for, everything I've taught her, completely wasted. Absolutely not. I forbid this. You're making the biggest mistake of your life. Her face hardens. You can't forbid me anything. I'm 22 years old and I can make my own decisions. These aren't your decisions. Someone has brainwashed you. This Jack character has manipulated you into abandoning everything you've worked for. She stands up, anger flashing in her eyes. Nobody brainwashed me. This is what I want. No woman in her right mind wants to be financially dependent on a man. I didn't raise you to be some man's unpaid servant. She's getting louder now. You didn't raise me at all. You programmed me. Every conversation we've ever had has been about your agenda. What is she talking about? I gave you every opportunity. I made sure you understood your worth. You made sure I understood your worth. Everything had to be about proving women are just as good as men. I was never allowed to just be myself. This is spiraling out of control. Need to make her understand how dangerous this path is. Autumn, listen to me. Marriage is a patriarchal institution designed to control women. When you become financially dependent on a man, you lose all your power. What happens when he decides to leave? What happens when he starts treating you like property? She's practically shaking with rage now. Jack isn't like that. He loves me and respects me. They all say that in the beginning. Then once they have you trapped, everything changes. She slams her hand on the table. This is exactly why I can't tell you anything. You assume the worst about every man. You've spent my entire childhood filling my head with paranoid fantasies about how evil men are. Paranoid fantasies? I was protecting her. I was teaching you reality. I was making sure you wouldn't fall into the same traps that have enslaved women for centuries. You were teaching me to hate. You were teaching me to see enemies everywhere. She starts pacing around the room. Do you know what it was like growing up with you? Do you have any idea what you put me through? What is she talking about? I gave her everything. I put you through. I sacrificed everything for you. I worked 2 jobs to make sure you could go to the best schools. I fought for every opportunity you've had. You fought for every opportunity you wanted me to have. You never once asked me what I actually wanted. Sit down heavily in my chair. This can't be happening. How did my brilliant daughter turn into this? What you want is irrelevant. You're 22 years old. You don't know what you want. I have life experience. I know what happens to women who make these choices. She whirls around to face me. There it is. My feelings don't matter. My desires don't matter. Only your ideology matters. Feel tears starting to form. This is not how this conversation was supposed to go. Autumn, please. I'm trying to protect you. I love you more than anything in this world. I can't watch you destroy your life. Her voice gets even louder. You love the idea of me. You love the version of me that fits into your political worldview. You've never loved the real me. That cuts deep. Of course I love her. Everything I've done has been for her. That's not true. Everything I've done has been to give you the best possible life. No. Everything you've done has been to turn me into a weapon against the patriarchy. I was never your daughter. I was your project. She's crying now, but still furious. Do you remember when I was 8 and I said I wanted to be a princess for Halloween? Vaguely remember this conversation. You sat me down for 2 hours, explaining how princesses represent the oppression of women and how I should be something empowering instead. That was good parenting. I was teaching her to think critically. I was helping you understand. You were crushing a little girl's innocent fantasy. Do you remember when I was 12 and I said I thought my friend's mum was pretty because she wore makeup? Starting to see where this is going. You lectured me about how makeup is a tool of the patriarchy and how women who wear it are participating in their own oppression. I was teaching you to question beauty standards. You were teaching me to judge other women. You were teaching me that any choice different from yours was wrong. She's sobbing now, but won't stop talking. Do you remember when I was 16 and I mentioned that I might want kids someday? Oh no. You told me that motherhood was a trap designed to keep women out of the workforce and that I was too smart to fall for it. I feel like I'm shrinking into my chair. Do you remember when I was 18 and I said I thought marriage could be beautiful? This is getting painful. You showed me statistics about domestic violence and divorce rates and told me that romance was a lie sold to women to make them compliant. She wipes her eyes but keeps going. Every single conversation we've ever had has been filtered through your politics. You couldn't just let me be a normal girl with normal dreams. Try to defend myself. Those aren't normal dreams. Those are conditioned responses to patriarchal programming. See? Even now. You can't admit that maybe, just maybe, I'm capable of making my own choices. Stand up and start pacing myself. Need to make her understand. Autumn, you are brilliant and capable and strong. You can have anything you want in this world. Why would you choose to limit yourself? I'm not limiting myself. I'm choosing what makes me happy. You think it makes you happy because you've been conditioned to think that. Society has programmed women to believe that serving men is fulfilling. She screams at the top of her lungs. Maybe I've been conditioned by society, but you conditioned me too. The difference is, I get to choose which conditioning I want to follow. That stops me in my tracks. What does she mean? At least society told me I could choose to be happy. You told me I could only be happy one way, your way. Sink back into my chair. Autumn, I never said. You absolutely did. Every time I expressed interest in anything traditionally feminine, you shut it down. Every time I showed any inclination toward domesticity, you redirected me toward career advancement. She sits down across from me, still crying. Do you know what it's like to be afraid to tell your own mother that you enjoy cooking? Do you know what it's like to hide the fact that you love taking care of people? Cooking and caregiving aren't inherently bad. I just wanted her to have more options. I wanted you to have more than just those options. You wanted me to have everything except those options. You made it clear that choosing anything traditional made me a traitor to womankind. Realize I'm crying too now. This is not my daughter. This is someone I don't recognize. I worked so hard to give you choices. No, you worked so hard to eliminate the choices you disagreed with. That's not freedom. That's just a different kind of control. She leans forward intensely. And you know what the worst part is? You did such a good job of programming me that it took me years to figure out what I actually wanted. What does that mean? What are you talking about? I spent my entire college career pursuing goals that felt empty and meaningless. But I kept going, because I thought something was wrong with me for not being excited about it. She's speaking more quietly now, but somehow it's more devastating. I would sit in my business classes wondering why I felt so dead inside when I was supposed to be empowered. I would look at internship opportunities and feel nothing but dread. But I applied anyway, because I thought that's what strong women do. Try to interrupt. Autumn, those feelings are normal. Everyone questions their path. I wasn't questioning my path. I was questioning myself. I thought I was broken because I didn't want what you wanted for me. She stands up again. It wasn't until I met Jack that I realized I'm not broken. I'm just different from you. Hearing his name makes me angry again. This is all his fault. So, this Jack comes along and suddenly you want to throw away everything you've worked for. That doesn't sound manipulative to you. Her face goes red with rage. There you go again. A man shows me genuine love and respect, and you immediately assume he must be manipulating me. Men who want traditional wives usually want them for traditional reasons. What? Traditional reasons. He works 60 hours a week as an engineer and comes home wanting someone to talk to about his day. He wants a partner who actually wants to be there. That doesn't sound so bad when she puts it like that, but I can't let her make this mistake. What about your financial independence? What happens if something goes wrong? He's setting up accounts in my name. We're planning our finances together. He wants me to have security. That's actually responsible, but still wrong somehow. What about your intellectual stimulation? You're too smart to be fulfilled by housework. Who says I'll only be doing housework? I'm planning to volunteer with literacy programs. I want to start a book club. I'm thinking about taking art classes. She sits back down, looking exhausted. Mom, I'm not disappearing into domestic servitude. I'm choosing to build a life centered around relationships and community instead of corporate advancement. Why is that so threatening to you? Doc, I don't know how to answer that. It is threatening, but I don't know why. Because women fought so hard for the right to have careers, and they also fought for the right to choose. You taught me that bodily autonomy was sacred, but apparently life autonomy doesn't count. I feel like I'm losing ground. This is different. How is it different? Either I have the right to make choices about my own life, or I don't. She's right, but she's also wrong. You have the right to make informed choices, not choices based on romantic delusions. So, when I choose what you want, it's informed, but when I choose something else, it's delusional? Getting frustrated again. I'm trying to protect you from a system that will exploit you, and I'm trying to protect myself from a mother who won't let me live my own life, that hits like a slap. I'm not trying to control you. Yes, you are. You've been controlling me since birth. You decided what toys I could play with, what clothes I could wear, what activities I could do, what opinions I could have. She's standing again, gesturing wildly. Do you remember when I was 10 and I wanted to take dance lessons? Remember this. It was a teachable moment. You told me dance was about training girls to be decorative objects for male pleasure and signed me up for soccer instead. Soccer was better exercise and built more confidence. Soccer was what you wanted me to do. I hated every minute of it. Never knew she hated soccer. She seemed fine. You never said you hated it, because you made it clear that my feelings about it didn't matter. You had already decided what was best for me. Feel defensive now. I was teaching you to be strong and independent. You were teaching me to ignore my own instincts and defer to your judgment. How is that independence? She starts pacing again. Do you want to know what real independence looks like? It's me, at 22 years old, finally having the courage to tell you that your way of living doesn't work for me. This is all wrong. She's supposed to be grateful. My way of living gave you opportunities your grandmother never had, and your grandmother's way of living gave her things you never had. Maybe both ways have value. What could my mother's generation possibly have had that I don't? Like what? Like community, like extended family relationships, like the satisfaction of creating a home, like the joy of putting other people first sometimes. Those things aren't inherently valuable. Those things kept women trapped and powerless. Those things keep people connected and grounded. Not everything traditionally feminine is oppressive. She sits down again, looking at me intently. Mom, do you have any close friends? What kind of question is that? I have colleagues and professional networks. That's not what I asked. Do you have anyone you can call just to talk? Anyone you see regularly, just because you enjoy their company? Think about this. Most of my social interactions are work-related or activism-related. My relationships serve important purposes. Do you see? Even your relationships have to be productive. Even friendship has to advance some agenda. Feel attacked. There's nothing wrong with having purposeful relationships. There's everything wrong with only having purposeful relationships. What about joy? What about spontaneity? What about just enjoying someone's company for no reason? Don't understand what she's getting at. Those things are frivolous. Those things are human. You've organized your entire life around fighting something instead of building something. That's not true. I built a career. I built independence. I built a successful life. You built a fortress. You're so busy defending against potential threats that you never actually live. She leans forward. When was the last time you did something just because it made you happy? Can't think of an answer. Happiness isn't the point. See, even happiness is suspect to you. Even joy has to be justified. Stand up abruptly. This conversation is making me uncomfortable. Happiness is a luxury that women can't afford when we're still fighting for equality. Equality for what? So we can all be as miserable as you are? That's harsh. I'm not miserable. When was the last time you laughed? Really laughed? When was the last time you felt excited about something? When was the last time you looked forward to tomorrow? These questions are making me angry. I don't have time for. You don't have time to be happy. You don't have time to enjoy your own life. What's the point of fighting for women's rights if the end result is a life that's joyless and isolated? Feel tears starting again. I sacrificed those things so you could have them. I don't want the life you sacrificed for. I want the life that actually makes me happy. She gets up and walks to the window. I love Jack because he makes me laugh every single day. because he's excited about building a future together, because he sees taking care of each other as a privilege, not a burden. Turn away from her. This is too painful. What about your potential? What about everything you could accomplish? I'm not abandoning my potential. I'm redirecting it towards something that feels meaningful to me. Housework feels meaningful. Creating a home feels meaningful. Supporting someone I love feels meaningful. Building deep relationships feels meaningful. Turn back to face her. What happens when you're older and you realize you wasted your youth? What happens when you're older and you realize you wasted your youth being angry all the time? That cuts deep again. I wasn't angry. I was fighting. You've been angry my entire life. At men, at society, at other women who make different choices, at me for not being exactly what you wanted. Sink into the couch. Maybe she's right about that. I had good reasons to be angry. Maybe you did 20 years ago, but you've been angry so long you don't know how to be anything else. She sits next to me. Mom, I don't want to be angry anymore. I want to be happy. I want to build something instead of fighting something. Look at her sitting next to me. She looks peaceful in a way I've never seen before. You really think this will make you happy? I know it will. For the first time in my life, I'm excited about my future. Feel a pang of jealousy. I can't remember the last time I felt excited about anything. What if you're wrong? What if you regret this? Then I'll deal with it. But at least it will be my mistake to make. Sit in silence for a while. Try to process everything she's said. Feel like my world is collapsing. Everything I believed in. Everything I worked for. She's rejecting all of it. I don't know how to support this decision. You don't have to support it. You just have to respect it. I don't know if I can do that either. Then, I guess we're going to have a problem. She stands up to leave. Autumn, wait. Don't go like this. I'm getting married in 3 months whether you're there or not. You have that long to decide if you want to be part of my life or not. Feel panic rising. Of course I want to be part of your life. Then you need to accept who I actually am, instead of trying to turn me into who you think I should be. Watch her walk toward the door. I feel like I'm losing her forever. What if I can't? What if this is too hard for me? She turns back. Then you need to ask yourself why your ideology is more important to you than your daughter. And then she's gone. Sit alone in my living room. Look around at my pristine, empty house. No clutter, no mess, no signs of life. Just books about feminist theory and framed degrees. Realize I can't remember the last time someone other than Autumn visited. I realize I can't remember the last time I invited anyone over. Realize I've been so focused on being independent that I became isolated. Think about what she said about community, about putting other people first sometimes, about doing things just because they make you happy. Can't relate to any of it. Have I really been that rigid? Have I really been that controlling? Remember her 8th birthday party. She wanted a princess theme. I insisted on a women in science theme instead. She cried, but went along with it. I thought I was teaching her valuable lessons. Maybe I was just imposing my values on a child who wanted something different. Remember when she was in high school? She got asked to homecoming, was excited about buying a dress. I spent an hour explaining how formal dances reinforce gender stereotypes. She ended up not going. Thought I was protecting her from patriarchal rituals. Maybe I was just preventing her from having normal teenage experiences. Think about all the conversations we've had over the years. Realize she's right. Every single one has been filtered through my politics. Never once asked her what she actually wanted. Just assumed she wanted what I wanted for her. Feel a wave of nausea. Have I been a terrible mother? Thought I was raising a strong, independent woman. Maybe I was just raising a miniature version of myself. Maybe that's why she's rebelling so hard now. Pick up my phone to call her. Put it back down. I don't know what to say. Everything I want to say involves trying to change her mind. Everything she said about respecting her choices echoing in my head. Think about Jack. Only met him twice. Seemed nice enough. Polite, educated, respectful toward her. But I was so focused on seeing potential red flags that I never actually got to know him. What if he really is a good person? What if he really does love her? What if this really is what she wants? The thought terrifies me. If she's right about this, what else might I be wrong about? If my way of living isn't the only valid way, then what have I been fighting for all these years? If traditional choices can be empowering too, then what does that say about my choices? Realize I'm crying again. Not just sad tears, angry tears. Angry that she's making me question everything. Angry that she's choosing a path I can't understand. Angry that she's happy in a way I've never been. Angry that she's found something I never could. But also devastated. Devastated that I might lose her. Devastated that my parenting drove her away from me. Devastated that the daughter I raised doesn't want the life I wanted for her. Devastated that everything I thought I knew might be wrong. Look at the clock. 3 hours since she left. 3 hours of sitting in this empty house. 3 hours of realizing how empty my life actually is. She was right about that too. I don't have close friends. I don't do things just for joy. I don't look forward to much of anything. Remember her face when she talked about Jack? The way it lit up. The way she smiled. Never seen her look that happy about anything. Certainly never looked that happy about her academic achievements or job offers. Maybe that should tell me something. Try to imagine her in 3 months. Walking down the aisle in a white dress, promising to love and honor someone. Choosing partnership over independence. Choosing tradition over progress. The thought makes me physically ill. But also imagine her face on that day. Probably the same joyful expression she had talking about him. Probably surrounded by people who love and support her choice. Probably feeling everything I've never allowed myself to feel. Realize I have a choice to make. Can keep fighting her and lose her completely. Or can try to understand what she sees that I don't. Both options terrify me. But losing her terrifies me more. Pick up the phone again. Dial her number. It goes to voicemail. Autumn, it's me. I don't know what to say. I don't understand your choice, and I don't know if I ever will. But you're right that I've been controlling. You're right that I never asked what you wanted. I need time to process all of this, but I don't want to lose you. Call me when you're ready. Hang up and sit back down. Look around my empty house again. Wonder if this is what independence is supposed to feel like. I wonder if I've confused being strong with being alone. I wonder if I've confused fighting for equality with fighting against happiness. Remember something else, she said, about building something instead of fighting something. I realize I've spent so many years fighting that I forgot what I was fighting for. Maybe she's found what I was supposed to be fighting for all along. Maybe the right to choose includes the right to choose differently than I would. Still don't understand her choice. Still think she's making a mistake. But maybe that's okay. Maybe being a mother means supporting her even when I don't understand. Maybe love means letting go of control. To decide I need to meet Jack properly. Need to try to see what she sees in him. I need to understand this choice that's so foreign to everything I believe. I need to try to be the mother she needs instead of the mother I thought she should have. Text her. I'd like to have dinner with you and Jack this week if you're willing. I want to try to understand. Her response comes back quickly. Thank you. Friday at 7? Respond. I'll be there. Put the phone down and take a deep breath. Don't know how this will go. I don't know if I can change enough to accept her choice. But I know I have to try, because losing my daughter to prove a point isn't victory. It's just another kind of failure. Maybe Autumn is right about more than I want to admit. Maybe there's more than one way to be a strong woman. Maybe her way and my way can both be valid. Maybe I've been so busy fighting the patriarchy that I became a matriarch instead. And maybe that's not what either of us actually wanted.